The Golden State Warriors lost to the Timberwolves last night, 107-90. What was interesting about that game was I felt the Timberwolves were always going to win this game from the start, but they were like fooling around with the Warriors. It was kind of like they were toying that at times they were up big, but then at other times they took their foot off the gas pedal and they just fooled around. They didn't take it seriously. That's what I felt it was at times. You could clearly see that the Timberwolves were the better team. At one point in time in the first half, they were up by like 20 points. And then they screwed around and the Warriors were able to cut the lead down to 10. By the time the third quarter was over, the lead was down to like 6. But then the Timberwolves took the game seriously again and just put the clamps on the Warriors defensively, just choked them out and easily won this game by 17 points. But what was telling to me in this game last night was the struggles Stephen Curry had in this game. He shot 6 for 17 from the field, which is very poor shooting. 3 from 9 for 3, which is also poor shooting. Finished the game with 23 points, but it was a very inefficient 20 points. Jaden McDaniels just smothered him throughout the game, was all on him, just like a shadow. It was hard for Steph Curry to get free of him. He made it very, very difficult for Stephen Curry. One thing I noticed about Steph this year is that he's a little bit slower when it comes to running around on screens to get open. He's not as spry as he used to be in past years. And obviously that's due to this knee problem he's dealing with. It's something that media hasn't really talked much about, but the Warriors diagnosed him with this injury just about like a week or two ago. I'm just going to pull up the name of this injury, just trying to see what they called it. It was some fancy name. Yes. So they call it, I can't even say it right. I'm going to try to pronounce it, patellofemoral pain in the knee. So it's otherwise known as bilateral knee, also known as running, I think it's called running knee. That's what they call it. But here's what I want to read off to you guys about what bilateral knee condition is. So this is what it says here, according to Johns Hopkins Medicine. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to read this out to you. So bilateral knee is a degenerative joint disease that affects both knees, causing pain, stiffness, swelling, and decreased mobility. It occurs when cartilage in the knee joint breaks down. So they said one of the reasons this happens is due to repetitive stress causes this. Obviously, genetics can cause this too, but I think in Steph's case, it has to do with obviously the repetitive stress he's put on his knees playing all these years in the NBA. A sport like basketball will do that to your knees. That's like the most chronic problem basketball players deal with is their knee issues, especially once their career's over from all just the wear and tear they put on their knees. So this is like something that's never going to really go away for Steph. It's something he's going to have to deal with the remainder of his career. If you think about it, like even these quotes from this article like a week or two ago says that right here. I'm just going to read one thing here. Just here's, I think this is what Steve Kerr or Stephen Curry said. At 36, you're just going to have more aches and pains. Fortunately, the MRI he had yesterday was negative. He needs some time to clear the tendonitis that's in his knees right now. And hopefully the next couple of days will do that. And there's some other things Stephen Curry had said. I can't find the quotes now, but I remember reading a few weeks ago about this where he was saying that this was like the first time in his career he was experiencing knee pains and he was just learning how to deal with it, how to adjust to it, how to play through it because he had never experienced it before. So this is like foreign territory even for him. This to me is just like another sign of just age. Unfortunately, this happens to you no matter how great of shape you are in, especially when you're older. Just you can be in top-notch shape for your age, but you're still going to get these types of conditions. It's just due to being old, your body breaking down, just all the miles you put on your body. It's like a car. Your body's like a car. The more mileage you have on it, the more the parts are going to be broken down and just worn and just need to be replaced. And that's the case with Steph. Like, it's just not going to get better. The Warriors can try to manage this as much as they want. And this is why I believe that they're pushing hard for Kuminga to break out now, because they need him to carry even a bigger load with Steph now managing these chronic knee problems. I'm sure on some nights Steph will be able to turn back the clock and he'll look like the MVP player he once looked like, but his best days are behind him now. This is it. Like, he could still be a guy that gets you like 20 points a game, like low 20s, but you can't expect him to get you like 30 points a game per night like he was able to do it in his prime years or close to that in that range of 26 to 30 because his knees will just explode. The Warriors now had to manage him, I feel like, kind of like the Spurs had to manage Tim Duncan during the twilight of his career with Tim's knee problems, where they needed other guys to step up, such as Tony, Manu, Kawhi, and their role players, such as even Danny Green. That's something the Warriors will now need with Steph's situation, like Kuminga, Wiggins, and just their other guys to step up now, just more than ever. This is like why they have this sense of urgency putting Kuminga in the starting lineup and having Draymond come off the bench. So I have to say, just their best days are behind them, the Warriors. They're just not going to contend anymore ever again for a title, at least not in the Stephen Curry era. It's behind them. This is pretty much it for them. I think the sun has set on the Warriors' great run that they had. To me, I felt there was a passing of the guard moment last night when at the end of the game, Anthony Edwards just walked by Stephen Curry, just yelling some stuff at him, and just Curry just obviously had to take it. And to me, that exchange was kind of like, yeah, just Stephen Curry acknowledging that he's no longer one of the top dogs of the NBA, and Anthony Edwards is one of the newcomers who's going to be one of the top dogs in the league for years to come. I thought that was a moment. Granted, it's only a regular season game, but you kind of see these moments happen also during the regular season, not just the playoffs, where you can see one guy's on the downside of his career while the other guy's on the upside. And you see the Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry passing by each other going in different directions. To me, I thought it was kind of like just a foreshadowing of what's to come for both of them and just a kind of metaphor for both of their careers right now. To me, it was kind of interesting to see that. But his time is done. It's over. The Warriors are irrelevant now. They're not going to be contenders. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs and they manage to get in there as a low seed, but I don't see them as a top team in the West. I just don't see it. I had called it a few weeks earlier. I just didn't see it, and I think they'll have more struggles as the season progresses. That's what I wanted to bring up.